2% of dudes rapping, they ain't nice as me. 98% ain't live the same type of life as me. The judge gave me life and then they sent me where the life is be. That level 4 with depth and vice, the type of stuff they like to see. Two choices, fight or flee. I refuse to die a chump. I never been a mark, but damn, it's scary when that riot jump. I seen dudes cry, get punked, and some sexually brutalized. Knew a dude who lost his life and he was only doing 5 year-long racial fights when homie all you do is ride. Lonely days and nights up in a hole causing suicide. From the moment you arrive, you see the Mexican mafia, AB skinheads with big giant swastikas, pro-black philosophers, the BGF, the Kumi, and Muslims who will murk you from the nation to the Sunni. That MS was loony, quick to ride up on they rival. Even Christians went to church, hide knives up in a Bible. Political and tribal, the Crips and Damus, the Long Beach, the Hubs and the Dubs and the Grooves, the IE, the Bakersfield, the Dago Pyrus, the hustlers quick to roll, the gangsters don't move. Whatever click you
say, what's cracking YouTube? It's your boy 16 to life, and I'm back like I'm on a parole violation. Yard down. Hey, so look, from time to time I get some people saying, hey Chill, your intro is too long. So what I'm gonna start doing, if you're interested in purchasing my music, I'm gonna leave information on how to get it at the end of the video. Now let's hop right into this video, man. So today, while I was scrolling through my comments, I seen a dude leave a comment. He said, hey Chill, and I believe his name was Henry JG. He said, hey Chill, what do you think about John Diesel using the N-word 124 times in a 12-minute video, right? So I up until he mentioned it, I hadn't heard of it, right? So I went and checked out the video. Now, for the record, to make it clear, I did not count and see if that's actually the amount of times he used the N-word, right? But he did excessively use the N-word, right? And I'm familiar with John Diesel's channel, and I will say that he does excessively use the N-word. Now, for those not familiar with John Diesel, he's a border brother, right? And he is, if I'm not mistaken, from Northern California. He's definitely from Northern California. I don't know if it's from Oakland or Frisco. I've seen his channel a couple of times though, right? So I went and watched the video, and you know, yeah, he was just using the N-word excessively, right? So I'm gonna show you guys a portion of that video just in case you're not familiar with who he is. Now, I'm not gonna show him using the N-word. I'm gonna just fuse together different segments of the video because he uses it so much that it would take me a lot of time to edit it out, and you know, I don't want YouTube to flag the video or whatever. So I'm gonna just give you guys a portion of it so you can, you know, familiarize yourself with it in the event you are not. So let's get into it.
You know what it is, man. Jam, they hit, man. Diesel, man. If you're new to the channel, man, go and hit that subscribe button, man. Blue. You know what I'm saying? Let's get straight to the video, man. Anyhow, man, so that's him. Ain't nobody ain't beef with nobody else. It's just him trying to rally up his people. Rally, come on, bud. Nigga, bud, stop, bud. Anyhow, man. So look, it's just him. It ain't nothing, nobody else. The charges ain't gonna look too good for you getting in trouble in the school area, right? So you need gotta be careful, man. Don't go to my 39th Avenue talking crazy, because if you get busted or you get pulled over, you get busted on any type of charges over there, you're in front of a school. Anyhow, blood, you know what I'm saying? So anyhow,
he is definitely I believe influenced by, you know, the black culture, right? And so I don't necessarily like to use the word black because, in my opinion, black is a color, it's not a race, but that's the more universal accepted term. And I don't like to get all philosophical and all this old type of stuff. So anyway, I'll just go with that, black, right? But anyway, you also hear him saying blood and things of that nature, right? And so, like I said, I'm familiar with John Diesel. I've seen him before, right? And so I'm gonna give you guys my honest opinion on him using the word, and of course other individuals who are not black using that word. Now, keep in mind I'm born in 1971, right? So I grew up in a time period where I was raised by individuals who were actually caught up in the civil rights movement. You know, individuals who raised me, possibly their great grandfathers or their great great grandfathers, were actually either slaves or possibly raised by individuals who were slaves, right? So I say all that to say that I was raised with a strong sense of blackness, that and pride in my race that I don't feel individuals who are younger than me, the younger generation nowadays have. I don't feel this is important to them, right? As far as protecting the culture in terms of not allowing other individuals or not being cool with other individuals using the N word, right? I grew up in a time period where it was very offensive and fighting words for anybody who was not black to use the N word, right? And at one point in time, it definitely was a trigger to me as well, right? I remember a time when I was in Ironwood. I was walking along the track and I heard some people using the N word, right? And when I turned around and looked, they was brown people. So I automatically assumed that they were Southsiders. But as I looked a little closer, they was Asians, right? So of course, there have at that period, I don't know if it was that exact moment, but in Ironwood, there were times where there was issues with blacks when they would hear Asians use the N word and they approach their people, and that situation was resolved by their people letting them know it was not cool to use that word. The same we've had same interactions with Southsiders. You may have had say use the word. You'll have a black individual hear it who does not agree and approve. They approach the Southsiders or whatever, and they people let them know that, hey man, don't use that word, it's disrespectful, so on and so forth, right? And so, like I said, I grew up at a time, man, where that word was not used, and honestly, that word was not used by other races. And honestly, with me, um I I was raised in a generation where we embraced that word when it was used amongst us. Some of us, you've always had different blacks on different sides of the spectrum in terms of that word being used, even by black people. But me, there was a time in my life, man, where I considered, don't even call nobody who's not black that word, because to me, that is, I take great pride in my race and my culture, right? And so to me, that was like a badge of honor, you know what I'm saying, to call somebody that, man. So just to refer to, I remember when I first heard a dude referring to somebody else who wasn't black as the N as the NIGGA. I'm like, man, to me it sounded crazy, but it all comes down, when it's all said and done, it all comes down to your belief system, right? Um so eventually, after hearing this word used by so many other races, my belief system has changed a little bit, right? For one, I feel that the generations up under me have dropped the ball in making other races feel that it's okay and it's cool to use that word, and even allowing them to refer to them as that word. That was something that I frowned deeply upon at one point in time. But now, um, as I hear other races so frequently use the word, now I think influence. I think our culture is so heavily emulated that we have influenced so many different other cultures. I'm not saying they want to be black, but they definitely like our swag. They definitely like what we're doing. And I think that should go, excuse me, I have a cold. I think that should point out to us as a race, as a collective, how influential we are and how much stronger we could be if we were to unite among ourselves, take the initiative to stop being so aggressive and physically violent towards our own people, right? Here is a word, right, that is recognized as one of the most vile words uh in the world. You have dudes over there in China using the N word with the hard ER when certain basketball players come over there to play and they're trying to be disrespectful. This is a word that is globally recognized as a vile word, right? But our culture, we have took the word, we have embraced it, we have flipped the word, and now you have other individuals using this word as a term of endearment term, individuals who are not even, of course, of African American ancestry or African ancestry or whatever, right? To me, in my opinion, that just says a lot. Last night I seen the video. It was some dudes looked like they were somewhere down in the sticks, somewhere in the country, all white, arguing, and that word was used around and hurled around at least 15, 20 times in that video. So to me, that just goes to show how influential our culture is. I never forget, man. I was in Ironwood. I was standing in the line. waiting to go to canteen. You had some older Southsiders there, and one dude was talking to his homies, talking about how he didn't like how the younger Southsiders played so much rap. He didn't like that. He wondered why they wanted to listen to their music. That's what he kept saying, right? He didn't, he just disagreed with them bumping that rap music, right? But the whole time he's talking, he has a radio with him, and he's listening to a black oldie group, the Shirelles. I'll never forget. He was playing that song, "This is dedicated to the one I love," right? Eventually that song went off, and another black song came on, right? So to me, it's just crazy that, how he couldn't see that, okay, these young Southsiders, they may like rap, but you also like a black group. You also like a black oldies group. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if anybody gonna keep it 100%, man, first and foremost, black music was the most music that I heard being played in any prison that I was in outside on the yard, not only by blacks, Crips, and Bloods, but other races. You would hear Hispanics bumping raps just as much as you would hear blacks bumping rap, right? And so, and then anybody knows too that on any yard, the best oldies, the older Southsiders had the best oldies. You would always walk past the older Southsiders, they hanging out, chilling, talking. They always had some oldies bumping. They had the bomb oldies from the Temprees, the Duprees, the Shirelles, whoever. You know what I'm saying? So, I just say that to say that our culture, our music has always influenced other races heavily, way past, more than we have been influenced by their music. Not to say that you don't have blacks playing other music, because you do, but you will find other races bumping our music much more. And like I said, man, that's just the truth. That's just the truth of the matter, right? And once again, it goes back to, in my opinion, to reflect how influential we are as a people, right? And so eventually my thinking on other individuals has changed, right? It has evolved, right? Because at the end of the day, when we if we get upset, whatever we get upset about, whether it's a person using the N-word, whether it's a person, driving past you real fast, or whatever, saying something, whatever, right? It boils down to your belief system, right? So basically, my belief system has changed, and now I see it as, people are influenced by our culture, right? They may not know it, but in my mind, they are paying respect. They are acknowledging our culture. Our culture has influenced them so much. They have took the most vile word, and now they'll refer to themselves as that, right? Not saying they want to be black once again, but they definitely must love our culture, right? I never forget, man. I was locked up with a brother by the name of Big Marcellus. Now, at the time, he wasn't Big Marcellus. He just introduced himself as Marcellus. It wasn't until I got out of prison and seen his name talked about highly and well respected by a lot of Los Angeles gang members, until I realized who he was in the gang culture. Now, at that time when I met him, he was a lifer. He had been locked up 30 plus years, somewhere around there, right? So I met him because we was in the same self-help group, right? And so during this period when we're in the self-help group together, he went to the parole board and they found him suitable, which means that he was basically coming home, right? They told him, okay, you going home in X amount of time. It's normally about 6 months, right? So one day, as we're leaving the self-help group, heading back to our buildings, there's a white dude out there and he's talking to somebody else. He uses the N word. Big Marcellus turns around quite aggressively and starts cussing. He said, "What did you say?" Up to that point, I don't think I had ever heard Marcellus cuss or use profanity, right? But he became enraged at this individual. I literally had to grab Marcellus. I said, "Hey, homie, kick back, man. Don't you, homie, you going home. Don't trip on that stuff." He like, "No, man, these dudes, using these words and stuff." He was upset that a person would, basically a white person would use that word. So I had to talk to him and calm him down. This dude was almost willing to mess up his opportunity he had going home, and he's home now. Shout out to Big Marcellus. I talk to him often. Actually, I called him before I made this video. But anyway, he almost messed up his date due to his belief system about another race using that N word, right? So, like I said, once again, man, it just all comes down to a person's feelings and his belief system on that word. When I hear other individuals use that word, I don't necessarily like it, right? Um, Even if they're not using it in a term that would be considered derogatory, even if they're referring to a person in a friendly manner, right? Nowadays, when I'm out jogging or doing whatever I'm doing, I often hear individuals younger, much younger than me, sometimes my same age at the gym, whatever, using that word extremely almost overkill, and they are not black, right? But like I say once again, man, to me it just points out that we have influenced others to, really enjoy our swag, man. And so I don't necessarily feel it's my job anymore to approach and want to get into a verbal or physical confrontation with an individual because he's using a word in a conversation that's not even directed to me, right? So those are my feelings. Like I said, once again, I definitely don't like it, but at the end of the day, it's not my job, man, to try to monitor what comes out of each person's mouth. We have influenced many other individuals, man. And so yeah, you already know what it is. It's your boy 16 to life. Resume normal program.